Happy New Year's, guys. Super excited for the new year. Listen, we got a lot to discuss, but real quick, I want to show you guys the new drip that just came in. Check these out, guys. Got some TYRs. I forgot exactly which ones these are, but they're a little bit different from the original ones I was looking at where it's more flat. This one, the toe was up a bit, but it's good for running metcons, you know what I'm saying? I'll end up breaking those in tomorrow, but today is Monday, so we got bench and back squats, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna discuss my Hyrox programming that I'm creating for the next 12 weeks because I got Hyrox Miami coming up in April. I'm super excited. It's been a little tricky trying to create the program, but once you get the first week done, it's kind of like just progressing every week. The only difference really in my training that's gonna change is just more running volume. I'm gonna have a lot more days where I'm running, a lot more days where I'm doing interval training and threshold running and also compromise running. So I'm gonna break down all these terms and whatnot, and I'm gonna do a screen share when I come back from the gym so we can kind of break down all the things you need to do training for Hyrox. I'm still gonna be incorporating a lot of CrossFit training into what I do because CrossFit is the goal for me. But, and luckily a lot of that training, it's easily intertwined with the Hyrox training because it's both, Metcon based, it's both, functional fitness. It's actually somewhat easier to train for Hyrox, minus the running, that's the part that's gonna be a little tricky. But I've been able to build up my running volume because I've been really consistent for the last like 4 months. So we'll see. Let's get it, guys. So earlier I was able to get a great workout in. Basically did what I'm going to show you guys in this template right here, but this is the general premise for like what we're going to do the first 4 weeks. Remember, I only have 12 weeks. That's the general plan is to, well, you want to plan well beyond 12 weeks if you're way more serious about it. But I'm just doing the open and this is my first high rock. So, as much as I want to do sub 60, and I'm definitely like still trying to train like a pro. I know that I'm nowhere near pro level. So, um, trying to put things in perspective. But the first 4 weeks, we're going to focus on strength and compound moves. We're going to run 3 to 4 times a week. We're going to do 3 to 4 times strength sessions and at least one class minimum. But based on what I saw on Instagram too, everyone kind of has like a different style or a different way of training for high rocks. This is the advanced version, but it's generally like this. The 1 to 2 low intensity aerobic sessions are going to be your zone two, your conversational pace, running a 5K, I assume, because that's what I do. And then the threshold session, what I've learned is like that's your zone three to zone four pace. Could be wrong about this, but basically you're pushing yourself to your limit, but not too much to the point where you're gonna burn out. That's like zone five where it's anaerobic. I think that's what it's called. So I wrote it down here somewhere because ChatGPT was helping me out. Yeah, threshold running is running at the fastest pace you can hold without accumulating significant fatigue. So your lactic threshold, basically. So not sprinting, not gasping. It's a little uncomfortable but controlled. But anyway, let's go through this general template. Um, in the strength training piece, like I think it's important to me. Obviously, you guys know that CrossFit is my main focus. So there's going to be some CrossFit movements and some foundational movements that I'm going to be incorporating no matter what. Like, I'm not going to stop doing pull ups, but pull ups are universally known as one of the best workouts. Doesn't matter what kind of workout you're doing or what you're training for, what kind of sport, everyone should basically be doing pull ups. But obviously, there's different versions and variations. Ever since I've gotten into CrossFit, I've neglected doing like weighted pull ups. I need to get back to doing the L sit and a bunch of stuff, but that's a rant for another day. So today I actually did this workout right here. I ran a 5K during my lunch break. I didn't do an easy zone two version of the run. I think I did like a zone three, early zone three, but I gotta fix that, So that's just me being a rookie. And then 4 or 5 hours later, we did the bench. barbell back squat. We did some thrusters, and I'm focusing on my shoulder press because I want to get better at doing clean and jerks in the future. Again, I know like maybe I don't really need to focus on doing shoulder press for Hyrox, but that's just me. I want to, really increase my strength, and I don't feel like I'm as strong as I should be at 165, 170. So that's just a personal thing, but I'm not going to bulk up like crazy. I'm in pretty good shape for where I'm at. And then Tuesday, I like to do, mainly back, bicep. This is where I would maybe incorporate more shoulders. But since I kind of did some of that Monday, tomorrow I plan on doing some muscle ups, some pull ups, weighted. We'll do some dips. I heard online that like doing dips and chest press in the same day is not the best. So it's good to like separate those workouts. Um, Doing cleans and snatches are very, very, very important and very great workouts. Great full body workouts that anybody can not anyone can just do it, but like when you get good at it, it's something that everyone should do. Again, it's really great for your body, your full body. Lunges, step overs, why not? And then I like to just do a little mini metcon for fun. I was already doing them for CrossFit, so a row machine and farmers carry. Luckily, I was kind of already doing that, but that's also one of the stations in Hyrox. Two of the stations in Hyrox, so it's like it's pretty easy to train for these stations, minus the sled push and pull. So with the ski erg, I just want to go on a rant, but with the ski erg, I found a clever way to train for that one. Just find a pull-up bar and then use resistance bands and mimic the movement. Obviously, I want to have access to one, and I will soon. Um, I'm trying to sign up for a Hyrox class through Gold's Gym. They just started coming out with them, but still got to sign up for that. And I'm trying to check out a few CrossFit gyms in the area, but sometimes they don't want to give you like a free trial with Hyrox for whatever reason. They want you to pay for that one. So we'll figure it out. Then Wednesday, we're going to keep it light and run a 5K at a really slow pace to try to get to that zone two. And also give myself time to just practice any skills, techniques, or any movements that I still struggle with. For example, this is more CrossFit, but I think this is also still a great workout to incorporate. I was doing double unders today in between my bench. I mean, it gets your heart rate up. You don't always want to do a workout like that just randomly, but if I want to get good at doing double unders for the future, and there's like probably a way I can incorporate it into my high rocks training, to get my heart rate up really high. So again, I don't think I'm going wrong with doing that, but maybe that's a day I practice double unders. Maybe that's a day I practice pistol squats. Um, these are things that are going to help me for the current training, but also for the future with CrossFit. Um, but I think more specifically though, on Wednesday, I could probably practice wall balls, because that's very technical. And I have to make sure I'm doing that movement right because you got to do 100 of those, and that's going to be the last station. That's when you're going to be the most tired, right? So um, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do Wednesday. Thursday, active rest day, get 10 to 15K steps in. And that was Sunday for me as well. So we have our two rest days. Maybe Sunday though, we might ruck, and put 20 pounds in a book bag and walk around with that. And then Friday would be the threshold run where we try to run our fastest pace, you know, without going too crazy. Right now, my fastest pace is 7 minutes, 1 mile. So I got to get my 5K to as close as that as possible. And right now, I'm at like a 740. So I still got a long way to go to close that gap where my mile run is the same pace as the 5K run. We got to get it so that my threshold run is basically up to par with that mile run. Basically, I want the mile run to also be the same as a 5K pace, but to also be the same as the threshold run too, which is 7 minutes. So that's kind of like my goal. My threshold run is definitely not going to be 740. It's probably going to be like 8 minutes or something like that. It's probably going to be off a bit. So I definitely have to do more research based on what I got on my watch and Strava and all that. And then Saturday is going to be two different versions. It's going to be a high rocks class, of course, but I want to, for now, separate this. I want to either do interval running which I've been recommended to not do every single week. Basically, interval running is where you're doing multiple rounds running at a very fast pace. You can incorporate doing a really heavy duty Metcon, or let's say I do the class or I skip the class and I just want to run a 10K because that usually takes me out. Now, I have only ran two 10K so far, and by the time I got to my second one, I was actually able to do a workout a couple hours later. But the first time that I did a 10K, I was done for the rest of the day. I mean, it took me a whole 24 hours to recover. So, Saturday will be a great day for me to kind of pick what I want to do. If I feel like I've been to enough Hyrox classes and done enough, I mean, the only thing that I really think the Hyrox classes can help me with, honestly, is the sled push and pull. And I'm crazy. Like, I'll find a way to do that shit on my own if I have to, because I don't want to pay a lot of money for these classes right now. I'm just being stingy. But yeah, that's the general structure. And then this is, according to ChatGPT, kind of similar to what those different guys were saying that I got from Instagram. Basically, I got this from one dude on YouTube or something or Instagram, and then this is like another guy. So, and now I use ChatGPT to kind of give me a template. So, yeah, the first 4 weeks, aerobic base. So, just running really slow and long. That's the main focus. Then we're going to be race specific, weeks 5 to 9. Compromise running is something I need to practice where, you work out, you do a really heavy duty workout, and then you run. And basically, yeah, you're running after being fatigued. Um, Doing longer intervals. So the interval training is what's gonna get me there. But I guess the threshold running, like getting that mile pace to the 5K, getting those to be the same is key. And then phase three, we're gonna peak and taper. Taper is basically just saying like, hey, slow down right before the race because you don't want to burn yourself out. But yeah, guys, this is me. This is what I'm doing for Hyrox for my first week and for the rest of the week. So I will definitely make follow-up videos every week, be more specific. And as you guys can see, I wrote out exactly what I'm going to be having to work on, each station, each run, the weights, because I'm doing the open and I'm not doing the pros. So the farmer's carry and the sandbag and the farmer's carry are lighter, which I'm very thankful for, and even the wall balls too. And then here I'm going to be keeping track of all the different movements that I've been learning and consistently, working on how much my max reps are, and just trying to, increase my strength. We're trying to get to 225, baby. I'm keeping track of my running as well. So I've been pretty consistent this last month. Um, and this is going to be a great starting point for me because I don't want to have too many days in between where I'm not running, like 1 to 2 days, maybe three is fine, but 5 days, obviously, this is coming off of Christmas and New Year's. My average 5K is at about an 8 minute pace. So we definitely want to, increase that over time. And I don't want to rush that. And then in December, we had 7 5Ks. So definitely want to up that number. If I'm running 2 or 3 a week, yeah, like 8 to 10. So 8 to 10 5Ks, um, and 2 to 4 10Ks eventually. So we'll definitely up these numbers and I'll keep you guys up to date with what I'm doing. So, super excited for you guys to join me on this journey. This is the first time ever competing in a competition like this, and just so much to look forward to. So, let's get it, guys.